questions. But to follow up on that and really to sort of point out the question you asked about diversion of funds from other existing programs, I believe, Dr. Lium, you mentioned how the current structure, presumably because it does not fund the Valley of Death, ends up then with premature formation of startups which then fail. So could you discuss a little bit whether you think this focus on permitting grants to be used, and relatively, we're talking small amounts of grants, $50,000, $75,000. Can you explain if you think that really would help better deployment and leverage of those resources?
The simple answer to the question is yes. I believe that that conducting proof of concept research within the university where the discovery was made can be done much less expensively than in the context of a company. Creating a company and the cost of a company and the complications of a company and the distraction that the company represents for a faculty member relative to being able to raise a small amount of proof of concept funding, do the research within the university using the same individuals that likely made the invention is actually would be a significant advantage, and ultimately in the long run would be a better utilization of capital.
I represent Northwest Connecticut, so we have Farmington, UConn Medical Center with the Jackson Labs coming in and synergies with Yale as well, and attempting to do this licensing better. Can any of you discuss, this is a great concern in my state, things that we might be able to do as we look at this issue about aiding universities that are already very focused on this? What can we do to aid that process on the tech transfer? We've got big centers, both of them working a lot of life sciences. Are there other things we haven't flagged in this bill or related issues that we should put on our radar?
I think many of the comments that have been made today related to having external boards and mentorship are very important in the context of actually licensing as well. We recently were negotiating a license with a small company and reached out to neutral parties in the field, neutral venture capitalists, to determine what the cost or what the value of the technology was, to provide us some comfort in the level of in the financial terms that we were negotiating. We were actually, by doing that kind of homework, able to complete the financial negotiations within 1 hour. So I think that engaging the commercial community to help in the technology transfer process is essential.
And a final quick question. There's been some discussion, certainly we've looked at at Commerce looking at regional clustering for, say, excellence in manufacturing. Is this something we could also be looking at, say, in the life sciences? Again, that's an area where they're looking at public-private partnerships to address in part these entrepreneurial outside advice to help make that transition. We've been attempting to do this with angel investing at the state level in Connecticut, but obviously the resources get quite limited, and there's criticism that we're picking winners and losers. So can you help us, how do we avoid that picking of winners and losers problem, but nevertheless provide the resources for these startups? The outside advice, do you have thoughts on how we could structure that, what the federal government's role should be, or whether that's just advisory to suggest that they do this?
I think advice has to be tailored very specifically to the technology that one is examining at any particular time. We have a program within the Clinical Translational Science Institute at the University of California, San Francisco, that utilizes mentors with very specific expertise to advise faculty with early stage technologies. So I'm very supportive of these structures. That program is structured in such a way where there is a call for proposals twice a year from faculty. They're evaluated by boards of mentors. Individuals are selected and mentored for a period of months, and then there's a report out at the culmination. And a number of the projects then receive a small amount of funding. I think there's an opportunity to use those types of external boards to help make these types of decisions.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.